Welcome back to the action here on stage 2 at the Players' Championship Finals 2022, and we do have a former champion, the 2019 winner Daryl Gurney. 2019, 2018, I've got all mixed up there. Was it 2019?
2018.
2018, yeah. He was wrong as soon as I said it. But did we just see from Daryl Gurney, we saw a delayed entrance there. Did we see him making a point about potential disrespect by demanding that he had his own walk-on after being shoved out on stage 2?
No, I don't think so. Sometimes when you're walking onto the Reds bar stage, you get accosted by a couple of vociferous fans who fancy an autograph or two, but it's just a different dynamic playing in this place. Some people actually prefer it, but the elephant in the room, not that there is one, literally, but there is a big metaphorical elephant in the room, and it does involve Keegan Brown, because as good as his title win this year is concerned, in order to keep his card, the job isn't done yet. We've looked at what prize money has been added to his Order of Merit since that win. He's going to be in the Worlds, he's here, but he's currently sitting in the 64th position in the world if he doesn't win any more prize money by the end of the World Championship. So more needs to be done.
100.
And with that being the case, if he beats Gurney today, not only does he beat a former champion, but he will jump 5 spots up in the world.
46.
So winning this game in itself could see him do enough to secure his tour card for next year.
It could be that simple. Now,
60.
we've seen different scenarios over the last 4 or 5 years when it comes to people keeping cards, and a lot of them are very complicated. But ultimately, if Keegan doesn't want to go to Q School
41.
next year and wants to remain on tour, this game, every game that he has this weekend, and his World Championship Challenge will stipulate where he goes in January.
And don't forget as well, for the World Championship, although the Pro Tour qualifiers, which Keegan Brown will be one of, are not seeded, they are putting a separate pot of the first round draw to the international qualifiers. Therefore, for the most part, would be favourites to win their first match.
Yeah, but then you could get someone like Bo Greaves.
105.
Oh, there are plenty of names we could reel off where maybe that might not be the case, but
Could get Fallon Sherrick.
As a
you
rule.
could get Lisa Ashton. You could get Raymond Smith, who made the last 16 of last year's Worlds.
but you make the right point. Why wait for that when you can do it here?
96.
Yep, no time like the present. But Gurney has been pretty consistent this year without a victory.
Quietly consistent.
Yep, highly fancied actually at the start of the
60.
season as someone who could probably do something, but it didn't materialise. But it's not as if he played poorly. He still had some excellent performances.
Yeah, the 2018 Players' Champion. I'll never forget that.
Daryl required 36.
Beat Michael Van Gerwen in a famous final here in Minehead.
Don't worry, I'm sure you're about to get some sort of communication from his manager, Matt Ward, who will definitely fancy Daryl for the win here.
Yeah, just to hammer home the point, he hits double 18 to get the game started.
Yeah, difficult section of the draw, this one.
99.
Of the top 4 seeds, because one of the top 4 will grace each quarter, we've talked about the quarter of the draw that concerns Damon Heta, because he plays Ricardo Pietreczko in his first game, and the winner of that one will now take on Callan Rids. We go to quarter 2 here, which involves the number 4 seed, Dirk van Dijvenbode, who's been fantastic on the floor this year. And it could well be an all-Northern Irish second round if Gurney wins and if Mickey Mansell beats Dirk van Dijvenbode.
Interesting stuff. Interesting start to the day's action here on stage 2. A very, very strong display from Andrew
51.
Gilding, one of the dark horses for this tournament, and then Callan Rids rallying to beat Madus Razmar 6-5 in the previous match. Joe Cullen, one of Paul
128.
Nicholson's picks for the title, by the way, is 5-2 up now on Roby John Rodriguez.
Never any doubt. Now, we have to talk about that Keegan Brown victory in the next
60.
leg, about who he went through to win that title, because, let's face it, I love Keegan to bits. He's a good friend of mine. but nobody expected him to win. Even he probably thought, do you know what, there's potential, but maybe I could make a semi or, you know, get into a final. He was involved in an amazing final with Nathan Aspinall. But for him to win this year, after, what was it, a 7-year gap?
Daryl, you require 80.
Yeah, potentially even longer, between 7 and 8. I think it was 2014 when he won in Coventry. He was at risk of being sent to Coventry in terms of his
70.
professional status.
Keegan, you require 76.
Never really understood that phrase. It's always a bit cruel on Coventry.
Oh dear, 25 and Bull. And Bull.
28.
Well,
Daryl,
if
you
he is
require
missing a
10.
segment on this board, it is slightly low. That needs to be rectified pretty quickly. Well, that was so low. It was almost nearer the treble than the double.
8.
Daryl
Keegan,
will
you
not be happy with that
require
visit.
48.
Well, he's obviously got some friends and family right behind him there, Keegan Brown, 'cause he turned around for a little bit of motivation.
Yeah,
it's in there. Slight shake of the head, but you are 1-1. He's very, very good friends with Richie Howson, who has had a pretty good 2022 himself away from PDC darts. Richie and his wife Lynn might be in attendance, you just never know.
Yeah, played in the World Seniors Championship last year, didn't he? And he's qualified for that again, Richie Howson.
Yeah, and Richie's nicknamed the Owl.
140.
This is the kind of venue where you might hear an owl. But let's talk about that win for Keegan back on the 4th of August. Seems like yesterday.
43.
Came through Jose de Souza in round 1. Darren Webster, Luke Peters, Danny Baggish, Chris Doby, Snakebite in the semis, then that incredible final.
58.
8-7 in the final against Aspinall. Picking up that unlikely victory, which has given him a bit of a life raft when it comes to his career.
85.
But since then, this is my biggest point, since he won that title on the 4th of August, he's only won 3 floor matches.
One of them against Daryl Gurney.
There you go.
99.
What about Daryl Gurney, Paul? Is he still a contender for big titles, or would it be a surprise to see him win at the moment?
I don't think anybody's talking about him. Maybe we should. Because if you cast an eye over his technique right now, it looks really, really good.
140.
Just as good, if not better, than when he won here. Looks really solid, rigid, positions are good. He looks relaxed. And he hasn't been playing a great deal of big stage darts lately, so if he's well practiced, he could be one of the players who comes from the pack.
When he won his first major title, the World Grand Prix, some 7 years ago now, Daryl Gurney, that double 16 was the key feature of it, hitting it at the start and end of almost every leg, seemingly. He was the first player to actually win the tournament, having chosen that as a starting
58.
double. Even Phil Taylor, who often went for it in normal play, would start on tops at the Grand Prix.
Yeah, he was just being greedy though, because he wanted 9 darters. The players who go for double 16 obviously aren't concerning themselves with that, because you can't get a double start 9 darter starting with 32.
140.
One of the best legs I ever saw actually was in that tournament that Gurney won, and it was Simon Whitlock and Alan Norris in a last leg decider.
I actually watched that again yesterday. I can't get enough of watching. Was it 16 perfect darts at the
Yeah,
end?
and it was Whitlock starting on double 16 and actually being perfect. He could have still lost the leg because of what you just explained.
Yeah.
99.
Yeah, it was Whitlock that Gurney beat in the final in what was one of the most eventful finals for a few reasons. The game, the drama, the hits, the misses.
Yeah, not just on the dartboard either. By the way, mention of Alan Norris is quite apt when we're on stage 2 here at Minehead. Of course, he hit a 9 darter on this very stage and pocketed the cool £35,000 for the privilege.
He wasn't the last person to hit the 9 darter on this stage, though, was he?
He was going double-double there after a wayward first start. Was that Johnny Clayton? We had one since then.
I think there might have been one since. Great first start for double 6. Just collided with his own javelin.
Keegan, you require
Brown gets
56.
another look. to take care of leg 4. We might have another close one on our hands here.
36.
But he won't be happy with those.
Daryl, you required
The
12.
margin of the misses is what's worrying for Keegan Brown, isn't it? Not just the doubles, but some single numbers as well. Down for double 3. He might be able to use that.
Game shot on the
Oh,
floor.
what a roar!
Daryl Gurney.
Emotion
Fifth leg
from
is
Daryl
Daryl
Gurney
to throw first.
as he's looking to return to the top table in World Darts.
Game on.
And he's back at a place where he once produced his best.
In the 30 Players Championships for the year, Gurney is averaging just shy of 93, which is pretty useful. Played 70 matches.
Can assure you he did win that leg, by the way, Daryl Gurney. We've just got a little scoreboard error at the
26.
moment. He hit the double 3 and leads 3-1. There we go.
Yeah, we're back on. But he's had a quarter-final,
56.
well, a couple of them actually, 3, 4, you know, really good runs. But most of his season, the best stuff this season, it was
96.
done early. Gurney's best Players' Championship of the year, funnily enough, was a semi-final in the very first event, which was won by Luke Humphreys.
125.
And he had those quarterfinals to back it up in the weeks after that. But I suppose you would have to say it. The second half of his season has not been
28.
anywhere near as good as the first half. So he has gone off the boil a little bit, but maybe that's one of the reasons why he looks so fresh.
100.
By the way, just going back to the 9-darter conversation here at Minehead. Michael Van
96.
Gerwen hit one on the
Daryl
main
required
stage in
120.
2019. And
40.
Johnny Clayton hit one on this stage, didn't he?
133.
Good lead there from Keegan.
80.
Good use of the 19s. But you don't see Gurney going tops like he did, like Callan Ridds did in the previous match. This is the sensible play.
40.
You see, he got a shot for the leg, whereas
122.
Callan Ridds going for 2 double tops and missing it twice high robbed himself of that chance. Well, this is still possible.
This again, it's a massive miss from Keegan Brown.
34.
I'm there talking about perfection, and it's far from it from Keegan Brown at the moment. And Daryl Gurney can fill his boots. Fill your boots, Daryl.
Game shot on the fifth
He's up
leg.
for it, isn't he, Paul?
Daryl Gurney.
Yes, he is.
Sixth leg is Keegan to throw first.
This is not typical Gurney. He is someone who has prided himself on the fact that he internalises
57.
the way he feels when he plays matches like this, but maybe we're starting to see a different Gurney who wants to let it out.
Yeah, the more recent 9-darters I've just worked out were at the UK Open. Obviously, that's
60.
held here at the same venue. James Wade and Michael Smith both produced perfection in that tournament this year.
Michael Smith producing perfection. Now, where have I heard that before? James Wade, of course, who won the very last Players' Championship event of the
100.
season, beating Steve Beaton in the final. Ooh.
It's one of the few major titles he doesn't have on his Roll of Honour, isn't it?
Yep. He's never won at Minehead.
100.
He's not won this tournament.
Nor the Grand Slam, which he should have won.
Yeah, first time in his career that he missed it a couple of weeks ago, but a little bit of gumption there from Keegan. This one might be just beginning.
Interesting. The wonder of Wade, who just seems to go cold in the winter, doesn't he?
Keegan, you require
He's not someone who
164.
plays his best stuff in November and December.
Best stuff from Brown here. Needed a bedfellow to get a dart at the ball, although wouldn't have had to go for it with Gurney.
124.
A long way back in the leg.
Well, Gurney's given himself a 3-leg cushion,
45.
so he is afforded
Keegan, you require 40.
1 or 2 of these legs, but he doesn't want it to continue, and Brown's going to give it back to him.
Seventh leg is Daryl to
This
throw
could be a
first.
really interesting
on.
game. It could have shades of that famous Northern Ireland Germany game with helicopter fingergate.
100.
I know those of you who have tuned in to watch us, maybe watching a certain football match later on, Paul, in the other one in England's group, the Wales goalkeeper just been sent
83.
off.
You being serious?
Yeah, absolutely. Wayne Hennessy seeing red. And Daryl Gurney find the red bed here.
58.
All these players want to do come Sunday night is see their name etched on that trophy. I still maintain that the best post-match or post-tournament win and speech thereafter is Painter from the end of 2011, because he
Ask
said,
Stuart Pike about that one.
yeah, how about that, Pikey? Have a bit of that. And 11 years later, we saw Stuart Pike this morning and we still brought it up.
Starting on 19s there correctly. Keegan Brown, another treble 20 would have left him a finish. Not many people know this, Paul, but advanced counting, if you hit the treble 19, then the correct second dart is treble 18 on 299.
So you leave 242.
Because a treble and a single can leave a finish. Whereas if you went for the treble 20 or treble 19 again, you couldn't do that.
That's very, very smart. Oh, look, it's double 16 again for Gurney. Eagle-eyeing it and taking a 5-2 lead. Loving that.
And I tell you what, he is loving life at the Players' Championship finals here in Minehead. Daryl Gurney up for it. And almost through to round 2.
Well, if Brown does go on to lose this match, he will look at that draw on Monday for the World Championship with some sort of anxiety, because he will desperately want to get a good draw. He will not want to get someone who's got some form. Imagine if he runs into someone like a Scott Williams.
Scott Williams, incidentally, in action next here on this stage in a battle of the trousers against Alan Suter.
I can confirm that I have not seen Scott Williams this morning or Alan Suter, so we have no idea what colour trousers they're going to have on or shoes.
I would be confident that Alan Suter will be clad in tartan trousers or trousers.
It's going to be a bit like, you know, the Bay City Rollers against the guy who used to have Emu, because he had some colourful pants as well, didn't he?
Wasn't expecting that frame of reference today.
A long way to go.
Is there much longer to go in this match? Brown down to a rather makeable finish.
Yeah, the winner of this one will be wearing the trousers, that's for sure. It's very much Gurney in control, having the buffer. Brown's going to need some sort of fight back from here. He can't afford to have those messy visits that he had earlier in the match.
Pressure. Pressure with a capital P.
45. Keegan requires 60.
Tops.
Game shot.
Beautiful assist from the other flight. And they're both giving it. Well, I assure you there's no break.
No break. Carry on, Keegan.
Keep calm and carry on, Keegan.
Not playing. It's Daryl to throw first. Game on.
Well, someone's pressed the wrong button there. I think that maybe someone switched off for a moment. I thought it was Daryl Gurney throwing. But Keegan Brown, I mean, does that break
59.
the concentration, perhaps of Daryl Gurney even more?
I think it does, but he didn't show it.
Keegan Brown,
He knew exactly where he stood right there, and then when that music hit, it was a case of Gurney had two choices. One, he could smile about it, or he could maintain focus, and he chose door number 2.
yeah, Keegan Brown embraced it a little, didn't he, and started sort of trying to get the crowd on his side.
We'll see if that works.
I'll tell you what, it is a healthy crowd here in Reds, stage 2. The sort of alternative choice away from the big main stage here at Minehead.
The hipster board.
Well, you think with the football going on and with the choice of the other board, might see a few more empty seats than we are seeing.
100.
I don't actually know how many people are in the main arena. We might even have more in here.
As you mentioned, winner of this to take on Dirk van Dijvenbode or Mickey Mansell. Now, if Daryl Gurney carries on in his pumped-up persona, that could be some clash of character if he does meet Dirk.
43.
I'm expecting much in the way of clashes of character when it comes to the next couple of days, because we will have some last 32 and last 16 action for you tomorrow as well. So keep it Reds bar for the next couple of days
59.
for your darting fix. Brown fails to get to a finish, giving Gurney 6 from here to solidify his place into round 2, and this doesn't get any better.
138.
Wanting to switch, not quite locating a third treble in the visit, but does leave himself handy on 80. However, it might be time for a Daryl Gurney flatty, should he not find the treble 20 with the first dart.
Yeah, it really does depend on dart 1 though, because if it sticks up, he throws the flatty, he doesn't
37.
know
Don't
if
require 80.
it will actually land properly with a flight in the way.
That's one way to solve the problem. Double 5.
70.
And this is one way to save a match.
Keegan, you require
It may be
170.
the only thing left that he gets.
Daryl Gurney flatty, by the way, is where, because his darts stick up,
Daryl, you require
if he covers
10.
to avoid covering tops, he will hold the dart in a different position to let the dart lay flat. That, however, is a perfect guide for double 5 for Super Chin.
No score.
Super Chin has not yet wrapped up the win.
And that is 5 missed darts for the match. He's going to go 17s. 51 bull is the only route left. He does like that route.
Yeah, it's a silly, silly play in my opinion.
39.
I don't think it was the right play in that moment.
Daryl, you require 10.
Why leave the bull when you could leave a double? Half a dozen match-winning darts have gone begging for Gurney, but he does get the win.
And the match.
He's been pumped up from the start of this one, Daryl Gurney, and he wins it 6-3, condemning Keegan Brown to an early defeat. He will head to the World Championship knowing that a win might be needed to hold on to his professional status. Daryl Gurney still has Minehead on his mind, a place where he was the champion 4 years ago, and he's got his campaign off to a winning start, defeating Keegan Brown by 6 legs to 3.